Welcome to our first class of, introduction to programming in Python. So, first question that is, in my mind is like, why you should learn to write program? Why should you do programming? So, there are many reasons for this. So, I have made this slide for you just for your reference, Let's talk about this. Why we should learn programming? We as a human being are tend to, do new things again and again, right? We don't like doing, repetitive works again and again. Say, for example, if I were to, tell you that write something like 1000 times, will you do it? If I would say that write this thing like 10 times, you will do it. 100 times, you might do it. 1000 times, you might do this in, few days. But if I were to tell you that, write this sentence again and again, again and again, and do this for 1 lakh times, will you be able to do it? Like you will get bored. Even if you will, do it, you will be, you are, very likely to make mistakes and you are going to get tired and you are not going to complete this whole task in, the given time frame. Like you will take a long hour to, do this task. But for computers, when you do programming, what you will ask the computer to do, it will do this in a very efficient, error-free manner and in a very less time. So this is what is the magic of programming, is that you can make your life easier. You can solve difficult problems. Like you can do anything, like whatever that is a repetitive work that is having certain type of algorithm, you can do this with the help of programming, right? So programming is nowadays very, important tool that you should know, like even for fun, you should know this. So this is why we have introduced this course for programming in Python. Okay. So before, going further into the programming stuff, you should be knowing something about computer hardware and its architecture, right? So as you can see your screen, what I am going to what I am showing you is that in the computer there are two main components, that is the CPU and the main memory, that is the RAM. So this is CPU, this is the Intel i7 processor, this is Apple's M2 Pro chip. So these are the CPUs. So these are CPUs. These CPUs are, the brain of the computer. Then you have this main memory, that is RAM. Then you have this secondary memory, that is, your hard disk. This is your SSD type of Gen 4 SSD. So what is the difference between RAM and this storage? So for a basic idea, you should know that this RAM is a primary memory, while this SSD, where you download your data, this is a secondary memory. So whenever you turn off your device, mobile phone or computer, whatever that is, running in RAM is, getting deleted. So it is getting erased. But when you turn on your device, nothing is in the RAM. Everything is in the hard disk. So hard disk, is basically for storage of data, but for its further processing, while you are using your computer, there are enormous activities in background that are running. You are doing multitasking, so all of these are handled by your RAM. So whenever you restart your device, all background activities are closed. That is why when your system is not responding, you are told like restart your device. So what it does, it cleans up your RAM. Okay. So these are the two things, like main memory and secondary memory. The secondary memory is slower, but this main memory has very faster read and write speeds, because this is very necessary for your operating system to run on. So that is why we have this main memory and secondary memory. Then you have input and output devices. I think you all are aware like what are input devices, what are output devices. Keyboard, mouse, touch, touch screen. These are input devices. Your display, speaker, these are output devices, right? Okay. And then there is a network. This network is like, your internet connection and so and so. This is also a type of secondary memory. Okay. Now, why we are, learning this Python? So Python is a high level programming language, but it is very, simple programming language as compared to C++ plus plus or Java or, any other programming language. There are many programming languages. So like that, Python is one of them. This is very straightforward. Like there are so, simple English words that are used here. So that is why we have chosen this, Python as our first programming language. Okay. Now you should know that the CPU that is inside, the brain of your computer, is not going to understand any of the high level programming languages like Python and all. It will not understand this. So what does it understand? Your CPU will understand only machine language, which is very, very, you can see this is very complex thing like zeros and ones. It understands the languages of zeros and ones. And you are not as a human being. We don't talk to somebody in, zeros and ones. We, have a language to, communicate. And that is why we have developed a programming language which is like a bridge between human and computer. So using programming language you are interacting with your computer, you are telling your computer, you are giving it instruction to do this and then do this. All of this that you are doing, you are doing in terms, you are giving this instruction in a simple English language, right? We are not able to write anything in zeros and ones. So Python is basically doing what? It is, converting your instruction, the code that you are writing into the machine language that your CPU will eventually understand. So your CPU will understand machine language that is zeros and ones. And when you write a code, you are writing simply a code, and these codes are then compiled, right? So there is a process that happens that we will be discussing later on. So then these, code that we have written will be converted into machine language, and this machine language is what computer will take into account. So I think you should have this basic idea that these programming language Python, your computer CPU is not able to understand this. It understands only zeros and ones. And what happens that these high level programming languages are at the end needs to be converted into machine language, and this machine language is executed by your computers, right? So this is one of the this is the first idea that you should be having about programming. In the next class what we will do is that we will install Python in our computer. Whatever you are using, a PC or a Mac OS, we will be using this Python. We will be installing the Python. Then we will use this thing called interactive development environment, which are called as IDE. So this IDE, for this we are using VS Code, because this is a very less hardware demanding software. So whatever computer that you are having, the VS Code will run smoothly on it. So that is why we have chosen VS Code for our basic programming course. So we will be installing Python, and then we will be installing VS Code. Then I will teach you the basic like idea and layout of this VS Code. After that, we will be writing our first code, and then we will begin our programming journey. So stay tuned for more further updates and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Till then, keep learning. Goodbye. See you in the next video. Bye.